Hello everyone, welcome back to Fourth World Car. This episode is about a car that was never meant to lead, yet somehow found itself rewritten, reshaped and exported beyond its original purpose. If you are interested in cars that took unexpected turns instead of perfect paths, consider subscribing. That's exactly what this channel is about. So I'm here once again in Iran, and wherever you are watching from, I hope you are doing well. Today's car isn't just interesting, it's confusing, controversial, and in many ways misunderstood. In the early 2000s, IKCO was on a roll. Most of its lineup was still based on the aging Peugeot 405 platform, and the formula was working. But then came the Peugeot 206, a bold hatchback that had already proven itself globally. Compared to the 405, the 206 felt modern, youthful, and internationally relevant. Naturally, the question wasn't if it would succeed in Iran, but how far it could be pushed. I've already made a video about the 206 hatchback, so what's different here? If you've been watching this channel in order, you already know something important. Iran's first national car was built on the 405 platform. But after the 206 arrived, it was as if the car quietly sent a message, not to the drivers, but to the management of IKCO and Peugeot. And that message was simple: make me a sedan.
یه خودرو کم مصرف برای به صرفه شدن زندگی، یه خودرو با صندوق عقب جادار برای لوازم زندگی، یه خودرو با سوخت تمیز برای رنگی شدن زندگی، یه خودرو پرقدرت برای سربالایی زندگی. 206 SD، یک خودرو مناسب برای تمام زندگی.
I spent nearly 30 minutes driving around hunting for an SD. And guess what? Not a single one in sight. It was like they had all vanished, which probably explains why IKCO eventually gave up on them. Hoping to increase my chances, I pulled over for a moment, and after a few minutes, when this guy passed by, I honestly thought he was being chased by cops. Of course, he just had places to be, but it really felt like he noticed my camera and tried to escape the scene. Finally, I managed to catch up and grab a shot. Much like the 405 platform that became a moneymaker, IKCO saw an opportunity with the 206 and took full advantage of it. Some say SD stands for sedan. Others say it's short for two Persian words: sanduk, meaning trunk, and dar, a suffix meaning to have. In other words, trunk having. Let's be honest. The original Peugeot 206 was a brilliant hatchback. It sold millions worldwide, making it a tempting platform for IKCO to expand on. And the designers certainly gave it their all, turning a hatchback into a sedan. The result? Compelling, captivating, even entertaining, but not exactly attractive. The final design makes it clear that the team wanted to minimize major changes. Why? Maybe to preserve the identity of the original 206. Maybe to cut development costs. Or maybe they simply copied the rear end of the 206 convertible CC. Personally, I find the third theory the most believable. And if that's true, it actually justifies the other two reasons. Copying the convertible's rear kept costs low and kept the design close to the 206 original language. This is exactly where the C-pillar becomes crucial. It's the point where they connected the trunk and rear fenders of a sedan to the C-pillar of a hatchback and somehow made it all function. But at the end of the day, it's still a 206, isn't it? As for performance, the 206 SD uses the same TU5 engine we've talked about before. Nothing new under the hood. Okay, let's take a closer look at this car and drive it. As always, I searched online and eventually found what I needed. The car was around 6 years old, hadn't been in any major accidents, and belonged to this gentleman. He was planning to buy a new car, so this one had to go. When I checked the odometer, it showed almost 20,000 miles. So in 6 years, they had barely driven it. I asked the owner if we could take it for a ride, and here we go. I know what you are thinking. Why is this guy dressed like that in an Islamic country? Well, my answer is simple. Don't let Western media convince you we live in an open-air prison. Let's talk about the interior. Everything inside is deja vu from the 206 hatchback. The classic clock on top of the center dashboard, the speedometer design, the multimedia buttons, every detail in this cabin is practically a copy of the hatchback. For reference, the French and Brazilian 206 hatchbacks managed 2 stars in NCAP crash tests, so this car should theoretically perform similarly. While driving, I got lost in a maze of one-way streets, which unexpectedly turned into more test drive time. So I guess you are welcome for the extra footage. Surprisingly, after receiving approval from its French partner, IKCO began exporting the 206 SD. The car reached markets like Russia, Turkey, Ukraine, Montenegro, and several Eastern European countries. In 2008, Peugeot itself started producing the 206 SD in Brazil, a clear sign that this design had traveled far beyond its original intention. Despite this reach, the sedan version never matched the success of the hatchback. Alternatives like Peugeot Pars and even the older 405 remained safer choices. Many buyers viewed the 206 SD as less practical and a riskier long-term option. In reality, anyone choosing the 206 SD over other options was probably doing so for one reason. They genuinely liked the design. The 206 SD moved in and out of production over the years. 2021 marked its final chapter at IKCO. Today, prices sit roughly between $7,000 and $8,000 depending on condition. Alright, thanks for staying with me and thanks for spending your time on this channel. Please click on the subscribe button as it's the only way to show encouragement. I'll see you in the next one.